James wiped the blood that was now on his face, realizing that it was already all over his clothes too. He quickly walked away, passing by where I was. He handed me my phone, which was also now covered in blood, and then he made his way for home. It took a while for the people with strength to decide to take the thief to the hospital for quick medical support. The rest of us, we were just there, staring at the 5 fingers on the ground and the blood that was all over the place. And then there were so many questions going around. Some asked if it was from the neighborhood. Some confessed they'd never seen him before. Some knew where he came from and showed where his house was. Some attested that he was so quiet, and everyone was confused how he could do what he just did. Some even thought he was bewitched. Some accused him of being a serial killer. So many comments were being discussed. And of course, following legal requirements and the medical processes, the police came for him the next day for questioning, they said. And to my knowledge, his relatives heard of what happened, and they came around and they gave us his story. We found out that James had been a victim of child abuse for his entire childhood, receiving countless and unfitting punishments and beatings from his father. This one time that his mother decided to stand up for him, his father, he stabbed her. 19 times the knife went on random places of her body. And she sadly never made it out alive in that operating room. Sad story is, his father never faced justice. After committing the crime, his father ran away and has never been found to date. The poor guy never got justice for his mother. And from then on, James fell silent and never told his story. Not until today, where I am here telling his story for him. All he could do was just let his compressed anger escape, and he took it out on somebody else. But that story, sadly, didn't save him from facing his jail sentence following his actions. I am now reflecting on other equivalent scenarios. One man put 7 bullets in his wife's skull in Monza. Another one shoved a machete up his wife's genitals in Mara. A 6-year-old child was sexually harassed somewhere out there. Let me not even start speaking of the guy who raped his mother. What of the 3 men who were abducted, raped, and then murdered? That 7-year-old child who lost her life in the hands of 3 grown-ass men. Violence, suicidal, and murder cases have now become ordinary sins in the streets of Africa, in the streets of Tanzania. We are sick. We are turning into a very quiet community, not talking about the problems that we face, and instead, we keep them in our hearts, we keep them in our minds. In the end, they pile up and affect our psychology. They affect our ways of thinking. We are well dressed, we drive expensive, nice cars, live in extravagant houses, but we are shitty in the head. Our brains are ill. Psychological consultation was previously considered a thing that isn't made for the people of color, but day by day, we show reasons as to why we need it now more than ever. We wait till it comes to the worst, while we had the ability of treating ourselves before. We need people. People to help us not think of the hurt that we are facing. It doesn't matter who it is. It's time to accept that the continuous pressure placed on men under the umbrella of manning up has more catastrophic damage than the positive. Mental sickness is real, and it quietly takes away the potential that you truly have. It takes away your focus and leaves you with nothing. It turns you into a cold human with no love to give and with the inability to receive and love. It encourages you to push everything away until you're left with nobody but yourself. It leaves you seeing no meaning to life until you get suicidal. It's all games until you give in to the heavy depression and lack of desire to heal and do better. And then who pays for the cost? We need to accept that it is okay to not reach the goals we set for ourselves. It's not a sign of weakness to ask for a hand. You do not have to deny yourself your essential needs and wants to please anyone. Running away from people or drowning in alcohol will never solve the problems that you're going through. Cry and be vulnerable where you are in pain. So to all the men out there, this is your month. It's Men's Mental Health Awareness Month. And I want you to know that your tomorrow in hope will be better than your today. So rest a bit and restructure. Don't force yourself to stand when you are too weak. This podcast is inspired by one Edo Kumwembe. Thank you.